Welcome back to another episode of Uploaded and Unfiltered. Today is going to be a quick episode because I am practicing making content without messing up. Shout out to Miss Jam Good Living. I've been doing her improv class, Life is Improv, or Improv is Life. No, I think it's Life is Improv. And always wanted to do improv. It's taken me this many years to actually do it, and I didn't realize that you can do it virtual, so I'm having even more fun because I don't have to leave the house. But one of the exercises that we practiced last week was getting a random subject and talking on that subject for 60 to 90 seconds. And it struck something in me that I didn't realize that is something that I always wanted to do. But in my head, I was afraid to do it. And we'll go with afraid because that's what it is. All things that stop you from doing something, I believe, is fear-based. But when I sat down and thought about it, I remembered that I can actually practice this every day. When I'm talking to people, when I'm making any piece of content, I just need to focus on what I'm talking about, slow down my speech, and deliver the information that I want to deliver. Today, I will be doing that during this podcast, but also talking about my coaching business, Radiant Reflection. So if you need some snacks, go get some snacks right now, get some water. I should probably get some water, but here is my introduction of why I do this work. So I used to think that emotions just was like if something bad happened, you were supposed to feel bad. But then I started noticing something strange or weird. People can go through the same thing and come out with completely different feeling. And I understood this firsthand on various different levels throughout my life, but that is something that is unique to us humans. We get to choose, if we are aware, what we're feeling. And that's what led me to start Radiant Reflection. Not only because I felt something before, this huge anxiety attack because of some situations at work that I never felt before. And I was like, that is not of me. That is of somebody else. And I need to figure out what that was because I realized people weren't broken. I realized I wasn't broken. My mind was just using old data, outdated information to make sense of the world. I was in a situation that I've never been in before, and the only reference I had to that situation was outside of me, whether that be movies, TV shows, music, other people's experiences. Those are what shaped my experience in that moment, and that's why I believe I had the panic attack. I can guarantee you now, right now, I can't imagine myself having a panic attack, knowing what I know about the brain. Your mind's not reacting to reality. It's reacting to data. Memories, sensations, thoughts, and meaning. And that is what causes the emotion. That's what causes the procrastination. That's what causes an anxiety or the depression. It's like your mind's using an old file to process new stuff. Imagine if you were using a 2001 version of MapQuest. I bet you half of you don't even know what MapQuest is. But imagine I told you, all right, I want you to drive from Florida to California with this 2001 MapQuest to navigate in 2025. And you can guess what's going to happen. You're going to get lost. Of course you're going to get lost. You're using old data. So many new roads have been built since 2001. There's no way without someone's help, you're going to make it from Florida to California. But once we update that MapQuest, or once we update the file that your mind is using to elicit these emotions, once the mind stops trying to protect you from something that's already over, that emotional charge just drops. It just stops. It just ceases to exist because you're not using old data to fuel your reality. You're not using old data to dictate what emotions show up. It's not about being fixed because I don't think you're broken. It's about clarity. And when there's clarity, energy moves, creativity moves. You start thinking of things that you maybe forgot about or never thought about before, but you start thinking towards what you want out of life. And for Black creators especially, we've been carrying around files that were never ours. Stories of struggle, survival, silence. But What if our minds didn't need to keep running that old code? What if our mind updated our file with new information? Because I believe when you're clear, you're not stuck in the past. You're not drained by what's not even happening. When you are clear, you can just create. And to me, that's revolutionary. That is something that I never heard as a child, something I never quite grasped, but just think about it. The present is the only time that exists. And when people start hearing things about past, present, or future, they kind of tune out. But I want you to lock in on this. The present is the only time that exists. And more specifically, which you can see and interact with in front of you is the only thing that exists. Why live in the past? Why keep bringing up old drama that causes you pain and anguish when you can tell your mind, hey, that happened. I'm good. And right now in the present, nothing has happened to me. So I don't need to feel that anxiety. I'm not in danger. So if you've been stuck or feeling heavy or like your fire dimmed, like that drive you used to have to create content, if you feel like that is gone, this is your sign. And that sign is telling you that your processor needs a reset. Lucky for you, you're listening to this podcast, so you have an opportunity to correct that. Radiant reflection isn't about healing the past. It's about making now work better because you got things to say and it's time for you to say them. It's time for you to get that content out. If you hear my voice and you've ever had a thought about a project that you really want to get up and running, that you want to share with the world and you haven't, and you can name 2 or 3 reasons why, hit me up. We need to clear your processor, reset your processor so you can start creating that content. I made a video earlier in the week in regards to how our mind works. And if you understand or somewhat understand what the algorithm does on these social media platforms like TikTok, then you will understand how your mind works. So let's say you get a brand new TikTok page, you just put in your username, you go straight to the FYP. The way that it works is everything that you interact with on the FYP, the system's going to show you more. Anything that you watch longer than like 30 seconds, the system's going to be like, oh, we got your attention. Let's give you more variety of this thing. And then maybe you'll like that. Because the purpose of the algorithm, keep you on the platform. Our brain is like an algorithm. The more you focus on things you don't want, your brain's going to filter out everything else and show you more things that you don't want. Because if you're thinking about it, your brain doesn't know that it's not important, or your brain doesn't know that it's not happening. If you're worried about I always go to an interview because so many people are worried about interviews. If you're thinking about your interview this next week with anxiety, you're anxious and you're just like, oh, I hope I know this. Your body is going to feel that and think that that future is happening right now. And rather than put you through that, it's going to try to keep you safe by causing you to not want to do it. Does that make sense? So just like the FYP, there are options in most, specifically TikTok, that you can go in the background and delete your FYP, basically reset your FYP. So when you go on there and you make sure that you're interacting with things that you want to show up on that page. And when things show up that you don't, you can long press those things and click not interested. That's the same thing you could do with your mind. If you want to go live on TikTok or Twitch or Instagram or YouTube, and there's a feeling inside you that is procrastinating, that is something that we can reset. That is something that we can clear. And with that clarity, you'll be able to go live without hesitation. I know it sounds simple. It sounds too good to be true, but that's the beauty of my practice. That's the beauty of the methodology that I am learning and continue to work on, rapid resolution therapy. It's not about talking about your past or reliving the trauma over and over and over and over again. That's what a traditional mental health counselor does. You go see them and say, what happened? What happened when you were 3? And then they have you relive it because they think you need to feel the feeling to heal it. And I think that's the biggest crock of bullshit ever. You don't need to feel terrible to fix yourself. You need to update your mind to let your mind know that, hey, this is no longer an issue. Thank you for the message, but it is unnecessary right now. And it's wild to see how people just flip in one session, 90 minutes. You tell me what your stuckness is. Oh, I feel like an imposter about talking about video games because I'm not an expert. And yes, I played video games my whole life, but I didn't go to college for video games. So I kind of feel like an imposter. What that tells me is that you are fearful of what other people's things. You think it's imposter syndrome. You think it's like, no, it's just on me. But the only reason you think that is because you believe there's going to be somebody out there that's going to call you out and be like, you don't even know what the fuck you're talking about. And to that, I say, and who gives a fuck? If you are a Black creator, you know good and well. And if you don't, let me clue you in. There are groups of people who would love to see nothing more than you die or than you move out of the United States or for you to cease to exist. They don't like you. Do you let that stop you from living your life? Do you let that stop you from going to the grocery store? Do you let that stop you from being the person you want to be? No. And the same goes with people who are talking shit about your content. They don't matter. You're not making content for them, not making content for the masses. I think once you say it out loud and understand that you are not making content for the entire world to enjoy, you're making content for those who resonate with your message. Once you understand that, clarity comes in, energy moves, creativity moves. You're able to create content effortlessly. There's nothing holding you back. There's nothing telling you that, hey, this is wrong, or hey, you're too old to be doing this, or hey, only women do this, or hey, only boys do. Like, all of those voices in your head are not your voices. They're somebody else's. Because why would you want to cause yourself anxiety, procrastination, or why would you want to feel imposter syndrome when it comes to something that you enjoy, that you're passionate about, that you want to provide to the world? Once you start asking yourself these questions, you understand that I wouldn't encourage me to create the content that I want. And that is why Radiant Reflection exists. So if you heard anything throughout these last few minutes that triggered something in you, that sparked something in you, and you want that change, again, radiantreflection.best, so you can go to Stan I think it's stan.com/Coach Jermaine. I will have my links in the description of this podcast, and just get the help that you need. It's painless. It takes literally 90 minutes. On the outset, maybe it'll take 2 sessions. But my goal with this practice and with the content that I create is to bring a sense of joy back into the world. I fully believe that the more the world focuses on all the evil shit that's happening right now, all of the struggles people are going through, if you focus on that and give that energy of, oh my God, this is so terrible, I do believe those shits will still continue to happen. You're able to look at a bad situation and not be emotionally moved by it. I know it feels like when something bad happens, you're supposed to feel bad. But what the fuck sense does that make? You're better off handling situations neutrally because, again, your mind is not reacting to reality. Your mind is reacting to data that's in your brain. And with that data will determine how you view the world, how you react when certain situations pop up in your life. If you can update that data, for instance, failure. If you hear failure, if I told you failed and you feel a sense of unworthiness or whatever negative feelings you can associate with failed, then we need to update your data file. Failure is not the end. Failure is a step towards your goal. As with failure, you can understand, shit, I'm doing the wrong thing. Let me see where I messed up. And you can improve upon that process going forward. Like if there was one thing, 2 things. If there's 2 things that I can get through people's head, one is your mind doesn't know the difference between reality or shit you made up, past, present, and future. Your subconscious mind thinks, hey, if you're thinking about it, it must be happening. why the fuck would you be thinking about it if it's not happening? And two, damn, I already forgot to, but you understand what's happening. What we focus on shows up in our life. If you start focusing in on things that you want, you start imagining futures with the outcome being what you want it to be and not what could happen, because all of it is what could happen. The future is not written. We don't know what's going to happen in the future. If you watch Loki, you know, I love the concept of there being multiple timelines. And I feel like, let's just say here, I'm sitting here right now. If I made a decision to light my hand on fire, that can drastically change the course of my life. Or if I decided to drink 40 gallons of water, or if I decided to just hit stop and go sleep right now. All these things are possibilities for the future. And what people do is they look at the possibilities they don't want, and then they stretch them out and see what else would happen. So let's say I just hit stop and went to bed. Then I would be like, oh no, I'm going to lose my streak and my streak's going to be gone and I can't get that back. So I should, like, you start going down these rabbit holes, but that's not going to happen. I'm going to finish this podcast, edit this podcast, upload the podcast, and be good. So yeah, if you want help getting your mind right, if you felt something that's keeping you back from being the great content creator that I know that you can be, and you know I'm talking to you, hit me up. I want to help. With that, thank you for listening. If you think that you know any other content creators that can benefit from conversation like these and more, please share the podcast with them, especially this podcast. Uploaded and unfiltered, especially this show, rather. I'm putting my foot to the gas and I'm pushing forward, because if I don't talk about the things that I know, so many people are going to go thinking they are not supposed to be creating content, and that does not sit well with me. Appreciate you for listening. Thank you. I am going to sign off, get this thing uploaded, and then I'm probably going to play some Tekken. I'm not even going to hold you. Thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of this community. And as always, protect your mental, keep creating content. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.